Have you ever felt like your faith just wasn't strong enough to handle life's challenges? Well, when things get tough, you're not sure if God's really listening or if your belief's enough, and that's a bad thing. Well, today, we're diving into how our faith can help us overcome the biggest challenges we face, whether it's doubts or fears or just feelings like God is far away. We'll uncover how even a small bit of faith can lead to big changes. So stay tuned, this might be exactly what you need to hear. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Father John Mozingo, and today we're talking about faith. Specifically, how our faith can help us when life throws its toughest challenges our way. You don't have to have it all figured out, and you definitely don't need perfect faith. You just need to take that first step and trust that God will meet you there. So let's get started. Have you ever felt like life was so loud and busy that you just couldn't hear God? We've all been there, right? It's like we're drowning in noise, work, family, the never-ending to-do list, and in the middle of all that, we're trying to hear God's voice. But what if those tough times when we feel overwhelmed are actually when God is speaking to us the most? There's this powerful passage in Isaiah chapter 50 where Isaiah describes someone who stays close to God's voice even when everything is against him. This person listens to God every day and finds the strength to keep going. But the problem for us is when we're in trouble, we often don't listen. We try to handle everything ourselves, or we get so wrapped up in our problems that we forget to pause and hear what God is saying. The lesson here is simple. God is always speaking, especially when life is tough. We need to make space to listen. It might be taking a few minutes each day to pray, to read scripture, or just be still. When we do that, we open ourselves up to God's guidance and we can find the strength to keep moving forward no matter what we're facing. Now let's talk about feeling heard. When was the last time you really felt like someone was listening to you? Imagine knowing that God hears every single one of your cries and cares deeply about what you're going through. Psalms 116 tells the story of someone who is thankful because God listened and helped when things were really bad. But let's be real, when we're struggling, it's easy to feel like God isn't paying attention. We might think, if God really loved me, why isn't He fixing this right now? Well, that doubt can make us feel like we're all alone in our problems. But here's the truth. God's compassion is real. He hears us, He cares, and He acts, even if it doesn't happen in the way or timing that we expect. The lesson is to trust in God's love and keep calling out to Him. Instead of turning inward and losing hope, we need to remember that God is with us and He's ready to help. His compassion isn't just a feeling, it's an action. God is deeply involved in our lives, ready to deliver and comfort us in our struggles. And that's something that we can hold on to, especially when we feel alone. Next, let's think about how we live out our faith. Have you ever seen someone in need and thought, I wish I could do something, but then just kept walking away? It's easy to miss those moments, isn't it? In James chapter 2, James talks about the problem of having faith but not showing it through our actions. It's not enough to just say we believe. We have to live it out. James points out that if we see someone who needs help and just wish them well without actually doing anything, our faith isn't doing much good. We might say the right words, but miss the chance to act. True faith moves us to action. It's about showing up, doing the work, and making a difference in the lives of others. Whether it's helping a neighbor, volunteering, or simply being kind, our faith should be visible in how we live. It's a reminder that our belief in God isn't just about what we say on Sundays, but about what we do every day. And that's how we make our faith real, not just to ourselves, but to those around us. Finally, let's talk about those moments when our faith feels shaky. Have you ever felt like your faith just wasn't enough? Like you're trying to believe, but you're not sure if it's strong enough to get you through? Well, in Mark chapter 9, there's a father who needs Jesus' help for his son, but he's struggling with doubt. He says to Jesus, I believe, help my unbelief. He's caught between wanting to trust and feeling unsure. How often do we feel like that? We think that our faith has to be perfect, and when it's not, we think God won't help us. That's where we often get it wrong. We think our doubts are bigger than our faith. Well, the great news is that Jesus doesn't ask for perfect faith. He just asks us to come to Him, doubts and all. When the Father brought His Son to Jesus, even with shaky faith, Jesus met Him there and performed a miracle. The lesson is clear. Our faith doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be present. God honors even the smallest bit of faith. And when we bring our fears and uncertainties to Him, He helps us grow. Our faith gets stronger when we're honest with God and still choose to trust Him, even when it's hard. So what can we do with all of this? How can we take what we've talked about today and put it into action? Well, here's my challenge for you this week. Take a step to listen more closely to God's voice. Maybe it's through prayer, reading scripture, or just taking a quiet moment each day. Trust in His compassion and remember that He does hear you. Look for ways to live out your faith through actions, not words. And finally, don't be afraid to bring your doubts to God. Your faith doesn't have to be perfect for God to work through you. If you enjoyed this content and are looking to gain further improvement in your faith journey, click on this video right here, and you can dive deeper into a life of purpose and faith. You will not want to miss it. And before you go, I'd love to invite you to join us in person at Holy Cross Anglican Church in Winterville, North Carolina. We meet every Sunday at 10 a.m., and we'd love to have you be part of our community. You can find us online at holycross-anglicanchurch.com. Thanks for watching, and God bless.